Here we go. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Furman Football Weekly with head coach Clay Hendricks. The Paladins, of course, coming off of a huge road win in a top 10 matchup at Western Carolina back on Saturday, 29-17. Come into today still ranked number 3 in the coaches poll, and I believe we're still waiting on the media. Well, we are up to number 3 in the media poll, so that has been announced as well. Homecoming this weekend at Paladins Stadium against ETSU, a 2 o'clock kick. More about that and the broadcast options coming up at the end of the press conference. Joining Coach today is running back / wide receiver / do everything Wayne Anderson and linebacker Evan DiMaggio. As always, we'll ask Coach Clay Hendricks to make an opening statement, and then since he's the closest to me, Scott Keeler gets to ask the first question.
Again, thank you guys for being here. Certainly really excited to get a win up in Cullowhee on Saturday. Really proud of our team, how we played, toughness we showed. Thought it was a toughness, execution, discipline kind of week, and I thought for the most part we did a really good job of that. Certainly weren't very happy with how we played in the kicking game, an area we'd been really good in all year, but we got the right guys in those spots, and we'll get that fixed. But again, I think just took all phases of the game. Certainly what we're able to do offensively and having a chance to run the football, control the ball, and then certainly defensively, and a little bit of the playing, as we've said in here a lot of times, trying to take the run game away from people and make them one-dimensional. And I thought we did a pretty good job of that, and had a chance to get after the passer. And a lot of respect for their football team, really, really good team. And I knew it certainly would be a challenge, and it was. And again, we're just thrilled to get out of there with a win, and just come back, have a chance to be back home this week and see if we can play better. I still don't think we've played our best game, so that's kind of what we're shooting for, and hopefully we can do that this Saturday at home. So with that, Scott?
Coach, is a game like Saturday, you've been here for a while, you haven't really had I don't know if a game like that in the regular season in SoCon play, but you were obviously here for the quote-unquote glory years of the Southern Conference with all those super teams back in the day. What does a game like Saturday do for the conference moving forward, and your opinion on Western Carolina after having seen them in their national stature that they've reached this year?
Well, I wish everybody had seen it nationally. That's the first thing. It's a little disappointing that didn't happen. I know the game's out there now, but I think I said last week, our league's better when Western Carolina's a good football program, and they got a really good team. I don't think anything less of them at all. Who knows? Does it even cross your mind? Would you have to play them again somewhere down the road? I don't know. If we did, I guess it'd be good for both schools because we both had good years. But no, I think it's the thing I've said. You look at them, look at Chattanooga, who took them to the wire. I think Samford has a really good football team. I think they've had some challenge this year. I think Mercer's a group like that. They go up there this week. So I do, and as we said, I think each game's a little different, matchups and such. But, when I think back, there was a handful of games that just kind of come to mind over the years. And, I think the Chattanooga game here last year was a little bit like that too. It was a huge game for us, and I think that maybe they were number 6 or something. I think by that time maybe we had finally creeped into the polls. But no, I think it's great for our league. And, again, I don't think it diminishes anything about Western Carolina. You could play those games again every week, and they all be different. So we're just happy to come out on top and have a chance to go play this week. And they get a little bigger as you go. Again, that's why you play and why you coach. And it's certainly a huge game for us this week.
Coach, they went for it on 4th down twice on their opening 2 drives. They didn't get – the defense stopped each one. How much confidence did that give the offense, and how much did that kind of settle you guys down as a team?
Well, I think it did. I think Coach Roper made a comment in our team meeting yesterday just about, when we get that stop, offense is standing over there, and then really how they responded. If we go out there and 3 and out or don't do anything with it, maybe it doesn't change as much. But no, I think that was big. I think the games like that, anytime you make some big plays, those are confidence builders, and they've been so good offensively. I think I see they're still ranked number 1 in the country in total offense, maybe by a little bit. But again, I felt like we could match up with them. We knew we had, they presented us some challenges, just like I think we presented them some challenges too. And but no, it was. But no, I think that was huge. Just I think anytime we talked about winning the first quarter and starting well, and we did. I thought, and that certainly was a big key to the game.
Evan, this was a great defensive performance, and when you're playing a team as prolific as Western Carolina is with so many weapons, I think probably a game like Saturday is based more on big plays than anything else. And that was a game where you guys made a bunch of big plays. But I mean, that is not random. That's a matter of experience and what you've done. But describe how you thought the defense shook down.
Me personally, I feel like the big plays is something we talk about all the time as a defense, having to limit them throughout the game. And obviously we had a big interception by, I think, Callie at the 1 yard line. That was huge. And, getting turnovers. The turnover margin is just a huge thing. You have to get by and win every week. And so I feel like that was a major area that we won. And also, as a defense, just us, we work on getting turnovers and forcing them every week in practice. And so I think that really came in. We got turnovers in practice, so we ended up getting turnovers in the game, and I don't think that's a coincidence.
Coach, we was able to see a lot more of Huff Decline this past Saturday. What was going into that, getting them together and doing a lot more? That's something we hadn't seen a lot in the first of the year.
Well, it's something it's not like we haven't been trying to do it. I think sometimes you kind of, you just take what they give you. And, I think Mason gets better every week. He's certainly an interesting guy to deal with, from a defensive perspective, because he's an athletic guy. He's big, certainly really good hands. I think he's blocked really well. Now I think we'd like to continue to try to use that. I think we feel like we've got kind of weapons at all those spots. We don't feel like we really have go-to guys as much here at receiver. We just feel like we got a lot of guys. Josh Harris, I don't think he had a catch Saturday. Josh certainly been a great player for us, and I don't know if there's a happier guy on our team other than Josh after that game. So I think that just kind of speaks volumes for our guys. But no, he's certainly a good weapon there, and we played with 2 tight ends in the game. Brock Chappell's a guy that played a ton of snaps as a true freshman, and I made the comment in the staff meeting. He didn't play like a true freshman, and did some great things blocking wise. I know he hadn't caught a lot of balls, but again, he's a guy we feel really comfortable getting him the ball. And as we've changed personnel groups, certainly adding Wayne to the mix, and I just think he's brought a different little dynamic to the backfield. And Mayan's done some great things back there, and so I think we'll continue to try to use Mason as much as we can.
Wayne, every week when I do the pregame interview with Justin Roper, offensive coordinator, he's very, I won't say understated, but he's very methodical about even the conversations we have. We interviewed him on the postgame up there, and he was more animated than I've ever heard him. You've been with him for 2 years. Who is Justin Roper?
Oh.
When the microphone's not on, tell us about offensive coordinator Justin Roper.
Oh, I feel like it changes week by week. Honestly, I think he's a pretty calm, cool, collected guy. But he knows what he's doing. We all trust him. He cares about us. We care about him. So I think he's a great guy, honestly. And I think I can come to him for anything, even if it's not even football. We laugh, we joke on the field, and then when things get serious and things get real, we know how to flip the switch and kind of go there. So I think he's a great guy, and I honestly love him to death.
Coach, without revealing too much, regarding the last 2-point conversion attempt, I think I speak for everyone. Are we going to see Dominic Roberto run the option again soon? And is poor Wayne Anderson always going to be a decoy? Because I got a feeling that Dominic was told, do not pitch that ball on Saturday.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. This play we practiced, and when it all. I'll tell you this, Scott. I mean, I've been around here so long. In my mind, because I call the timeout. I'm sitting there looking, we're up by 12. Why don't I go for 2? And I kid you not, for me not to think about, was it 2002, 2-point play, and and I think I said something to Justin initially about safe, give it to Dom, and Dom was running the ball pretty well, and he said, "Guys, just run what we've practiced." So we did. They really made a good play and they had a good call. They had a good call against what we were. If we'd had something else called, probably been better off. But I don't know. We may bring that one back out again somewhere. But yeah, I'm glad he didn't. Like I said, I knew they had scored 2 times. They'd have to score, and I played it all through my head. And but it was kind of the whole kicking game. We missed the first extra point, and they were offsides. And I probably wouldn't have gone for it had we made it. I probably wouldn't have taken the point off there. And then their kid made a good play on that. Their kid made a good play on the first one. In fact, I think that was going to you, wasn't it, Wayne? Their kid made a good play on it too. So yeah, I got sometimes too many memories kind of rolling through the head there. And but we may bring that one back out again some point.
Wayne, on your long run in that game, you sort of cut back, I think, to the wide side of the field, and I didn't know, was the play designed to go that way, or did you just kind of improv during the play and see an opening to where you could kind of use your speed?
Oh, no, it was definitely designed. Kind of like I was saying about Coach Roper before, just like trusting the game plan, trusting the process. Like, we know what he's doing, and I think literally everyone on that play did their job. So it was designed to hit in that spot. And I kind of feel like slow because I didn't score, but I think that was a really good play in the game, and it was definitely a big spark in the offense.
Wayne, last time you were here, you said that you enjoyed being a running back, but you want to do it, make the team. Are you enjoying being the Renaissance man, where you just play wherever somebody needed you? You sort of had that Christian McCaffrey look.
Oh, honestly, I just like being on the field. I know that I'm a player that can do it all, kind of like how you guys said before. But really, I just like being on the field and like whatever that means for the team and kind of where I am. I play a lot on special teams also, plus offense. So I think whatever that means for me, that's where I'll be at.
Coach, East Tennessee State comes in not having a lot of scoring on the year. Is this a game where you look for your defense to play shutout and try to play lights out for this particular game to make a statement?
Well, I think what we look for our team to do is trust the process we have in place. And, I think I heard Monty say this. I actually brought this up. He was at a game back early in the year, a team that probably should have beaten another team. And, somebody spent the whole game trying to make big plays and win the game on a play and make a play here and throw it over their head. We just need to trust what we do, and we have to win games a certain way around here. And we've shown we can make big plays, but I think it's just do your job, do your job and attack, be aggressive, both sides of the ball. And usually those things will take care of themselves, because lots of things can come into play. And, and quite frankly, we brought up, the last time we were in Paladins Stadium, we didn't play up to our standards. And, and it's kind of interesting, the Sunday meeting after that, we've had a few players have something to say about, that, and I've seen a little change in our team. Not that things were bad, but just some things and I think a realization of how we have to win games at Furman, and the things we have to do. And it is that, it's the toughness, and it's the execution, and it's the discipline, and especially here. And so I just think let's go have a great week of practice, have a good plan, and go attack. And I feel like things will kind of take care of themselves if you do those things.
Evan, on Saturday, the first 2 or 3 series, it looked like part of Western's game plan was to try to get their wide receivers in crossing routes and get matchups with linebackers, which obviously is something that would be to their advantage. And they had a little success early, and then we shut it down. What was the adjustment that the defense made?
Yeah, obviously we have play calls where the Mike linebackers are sometimes matched up on the backs or even tight ends or receivers sometimes. So I feel like we kind of like made an adjustment. It wasn't really like an adjustment, but it was more of like just go back, settle down. I mean, that first big play, I could have helped more on. I kind of broke the wrong way. I could have helped Gilby more on the running back, and we kind of just settled down from there and just played our game, and we knew what we could do.
Coach, there was one, I can't remember the exact point, it had to be later on because I know the first 2 touchdowns were Tyler throws, but there was a play there where Dom scored, and the play before Wyatt Hughes went out. And the next play, Dom goes right up the middle for a touchdown. And we've talked a lot about, those guys rotating and getting so much experience, but in a case like that, that's where it all pays off, is it not? I mean, you lose your center, you run right back up the gut.
Well, you're right, and I don't know. When I went out, Wyatt's a pretty tough guy, and he's had a little sore ankle here and there, and didn't know if that's what it was or not, and he just got dinged a little bit. But Garrick Vollmer came in there, and made a great call to get us in the right blocking scheme, and got a lot of faith in him. I think we played 8 guys in that game the other day. We lost Luke Pettit the week before for the year, and so we had a new guy. Blake Honey, I thought, came in and played really well. Blake played a lot. He plays every position. Every time Toomey was out of the game, EJ and Blake were both in there in the Garrick, so we had 8 different guys in there playing. And yeah, I do think, in credit Coach McCutcheon, the job he's done with those guys. And we knew that game, that group was going to have to play well, and I thought they did, and just kind of jerked their wheel a little bit. And it was a black and blue kind of game. I think we came out pretty good. We're a pretty sore crew yesterday, and probably today too, and leading. But I think the other group probably is too. But no, that was. I don't know. We've had a bunch of guys kind of fill in those spots. I brag on Evan right now. Evan started his first game at Furman Saturday as an inside linebacker. I think he'd started a game before as an outside backer, maybe one of the Citadel defenses. We were doing a little bit different against them in the triple option days. Now, he's played a ton of football for us, just a ton of football. It's been great on special teams, you name it, but I just think for him to come in and have the game he had, really kind of in that situation, just speaks volumes for him and our team. And I think we got a lot of guys, kind of fill that role. And again, I think the depth thing is, again, something I hope really going to pay off for us down the stretch, and I thought it paid off for us out there Saturday.
For Evan and Wayne, a lot of things went wrong in that game on the road, and the band behind you guys as well. How are you able to settle back in, not let that affect you under those circumstances after you made some mistakes, to be able to get back at it and go on to the next play?
Honestly, we had talked about it as an offense. We knew that adversity was going to happen. Got to give credit to Western. They're a really good team. We knew that they were going to score points, and we knew that their defense was also really good. I think the band. I didn't think the band was going to be that loud, honestly, especially being right behind us. So it was kind of crazy looking on the sideline, watching Coach Roper call plays. Just have to stand literally right next to the signal callers, just so people can even get the call. And even we talked about it on the field, the snap count was a little hard to hear sometimes. So I think the biggest thing was just trust the process, just doing our job. We knew adversity was going to happen. Adversity happens every game. So I wish that we played a perfect game on offense, and we talk about it every week how we're able to play better, even just week by week. So I think we knew coming in that adversity was going to happen. So I don't think it's anything new that we had to do or anything that we had to change. I think the biggest thing is just sticking with the game plan and just doing our job.
Yeah, kind of going along with that, I would say just having that next play mentality. If something bad does happen in a game, which more than likely something bad's going to happen at some point, you just have to completely move on, not let it affect you, and also I feel like we've done a good job of that as a team, and we need to continue that. And also, like with the band being loud and stuff like that, it doesn't really affect us. We just kind of let it go. Don't even hear it really for the most part.
Coach, I thought collectively it's probably the best game maybe the secondary has played. I thought part of that is early on the defensive line was able to generate some pressure. Just speak to how much each unit helped each other in that game, the defensive line helping the secondary and vice versa.
Well, I think, that team in particular, lived off explosive plays. And, and quite frankly, we've had a few balls thrown down the field on us throughout during the year. Each one's maybe a little different. But the three corners that we've kind of been playing with all year, I thought had really solid days. Hugh just such a calming force kind of back there, as well. I think Callie ended up playing every snap in the game. And, credit a guy like Jalen Miller, who's played a ton for us. But Callie, that's more his kind of game because of some of the things they're doing coverage-wise. And, Cam Brinson, Caleb Williams, really solid group. And tackled pretty well. I'm not sure you're ever going to tackle that group completely. It goes back again. I thought it was a big week of fundamentals, just fundamentals of tackling, doing just the basic stuff that you have to do to get them on the ground. I think they had the longest run, maybe 11 yards. And then I think maybe had 21 yards, and then had the one early completion to the back for 30 something. We could have played a little better, but if you could have told me that at the start of the week, I'd been pretty pleased with that. So.
Clay, I think this might be one of those things where I've gotten old and set in my ways and not noticed things because of it. But is it widespread in college football today to cross-train all the linemen to play the different positions? Is that something you do because it serves your depth purposes, or is it something that everybody in the world is switching offensive linemen? Because I didn't realize it was that common until I started watching y'all.
I don't know. That's a little bit of that NFL mentality, because most of the time they've only got about 7 guys dressed out, so everybody has to play a lot of things. But I know for us, I had done it not nearly to when I was coaching that position for years, not nearly to the wholesale level that Matt has done it here. We got so many guys that can play so many multiple positions. So probably a little bit, maybe not to the degree even maybe that we do it a little bit. A little bit was out of necessity because we were so thin a year ago, but it still is something we'd been doing, or he had been doing. So, but I know it's paid off for us, and you just never. You're always trying to get your best guys on the field, and sometimes the best guys to take a tackle and put him at guard. Your third best tackle, or something like that. So, but again, it's been a good formula. It's again a little bit of that philosophy we've had with just playing a lot of guys, especially defensively, but even on the offensive side as well. So, again, the old saying, when you got one, you got none, and so we try to keep that mindset. You got one guy and you lose him, man, who are you going to play with? And so we don't certainly want to get in that position.
Clay, going back to after the Samford game a year ago, this team has been remarkably good about handling adversity. Now, not as much of the adversity has been self-inflicted like it was this past week in the kicking game, which a lot of times is a recipe for disaster, and yet you were able to overcome that. And I think it was Evan who talked about the next play mentality. A, what happened from your standpoint in the kicking game, and B, how were you able to overcome that breakdown and still win that game by double digits?
Well, I told Ryan, I think we were 6th in the country net punting before. The day it's net punting. He's punted the ball well, and we had a little bit of a change up with what we were doing down there, and had to look, and we've moved him around. He's punting. It's like the guy that fumbles the ball. What do you say other than try to and then he mishandled the snap. So he's probably that guy that had 2 fumbles. And all of a sudden he become a terrible player. And then, we missed a kick before the half, which was a long kick into the wind a little bit. He hit it pretty good, but he didn't turn around and kick. I think every kick was a touchback. We did insert him in there. He's been our backup punter. We haven't really used him. He's got a big-time leg. And kind of the same thing. We just got to hit it solid. It's kind of like that. Playing quarterback, you're the guy they're watching, so it shows up. So they've been really solid. Our coverage has been really good all year, so that won't change. I think how we talked about it. It's having your defense's mentality that, okay, we just gave them better field position we want to. Let's go stop them. I think we did every time. I think after both the punts, we stopped them both times. And then I certainly would like to have the points. So if we don't bang that one off the upright, I probably wouldn't have taken that point off and gone for the two. So I think we left a few points out there, and I'd certainly like to get those back. But again, it takes everybody. And there have been times kicking games covered for some miscues on offense and maybe even a little bit of defense this year. And so again, I think that's just a little bit how we try to be built and. Playing. You hear that complimentary football, and I just think it's complimentary football. You got to do what you got to do. We get the ball. Cali gets the pick, and I don't know. Somehow it ends up on the one. I tried to see the same thing they saw, but they put it on the one, and we practice that a lot. And I think we made maybe 2 first downs. Because Coach Spangler says it all the time, guys. Punting is not punishment. We punt. A lot of times change field position, but we were able to punch it out and get it where we could. How many times you see that happen? You get stopped, and you punt out of your end zone, and but again, we'll go work at it this week. And those guys will be better. They've been really solid, and I expect them to be that way going forward.
Evan, kind of a two-part question for you. I know we're getting late here. You had a bunch of FBS offers coming out of high school, and I just wonder what led you here to Furman, and you've been a part of this quote-unquote no-name defense that just you can play a ton of guys and go out and get the job done every week. The last 3 weeks for you specifically, you've spent a lot of time in the opponent's backfield. Has something kind of just clicked in for you the last month or so where you're making all these sacks and tackles for loss and stuff?
Okay, I'll start with the first part, what kind of led me here to Furman. I mean, I came on a visit, and I remember getting a call that I was getting an offer from Furman, and they kind of said, are you interested in coming to Furman? And I said, of course, I'll come do a visit, and I just loved the campus. I knew it was a great school, loved the coaches. I knew a few people that were here, and I just thought it was where I wanted to be. And the second part of your question, I don't think anything's clicked more than usual. Obviously, I think the D-line has done a good job keeping me free, and when everybody does their job, it makes me doing my job a lot easier. And so I feel like that's a big part of it, and I also feel like just preparation every week, just preparing the same, having the same mindset every week is what's helping me, I guess, make more plays.
Coach, a little bit about this week's game coming up, ETSU, and nice to be back home, isn't it?
Really nice to be back home. Certainly mine, George Corral's connection. You look at this team, 2021, they win the conference championship. I still, thought the game we should have clearly won out here, and I think we false started with running out the clock. They were late, and they made a great drive. And they won a bunch of games like that this year. And then, kind of a mass exodus of kids, tackle goes to LSU, tight end goes to South Carolina. He's now with the Broncos. Had the kid that led the country in rushing, the backup running backs in the NFL now. Huzzy, the corner, is now the best DB at North Carolina. So they just lost him, and so major roster change. From when George went there. And I look at them right now, young group, played a bunch of quarterbacks because of injuries. But, the thing that stands out to me when I watch them right now is, they've had some challenges, is they're running the ball pretty well. and they're playing the run pretty well. Their D coordinator, Billy Taylor's been in this league forever. He's always done a great job, creating a lot of TFLs. So you can kind of see them getting better. I hope they don't get that much better this week, but they're a group that's getting better. But but again, I think for us, it's just about us, and doing what we need to do, prepare to go play well. A lot of things we can do better than we did Saturday. And again, our goal is just, can we be better, and can we go play our best game? And that's kind of our goal going down the stretch. Everything we want still out there. This is certainly a huge game for us. Going forward, and certainly it's great to be here, homecoming. Hopefully we'll have a great crowd. Our kids deserve having a great crowd out there, and just because of the things they've done. And I think consistency has probably been one of our strong. I think we've been a really consistent group, and I think when we look at this year, when it's all said and done, have we continued to get better? And I think we've kind of taken a step these last couple of weeks, and hopefully we can just keep taking those steps. But again, our guys are off today, and doing a lot of planning, and then we'll get rolling here tomorrow. It's supposed to be warm, maybe warming back up a little bit this week. So hopefully our depth helps us there as well. So, but no, looking forward to getting a chance to be back at home.
When you play a team that has as many injuries at quarterback and stuff like they've had, how hard does that make it to prepare for somebody? Because I would think that they're getting away from what they wanted to do at the outset of the season to what they are now. They have to adjust to who they have. Does that make it difficult to prepare on your behalf?
Well, you're playing a little bit of the what if game, and now the kid they're playing with, who I think they'll probably play. I mean, I don't know. Is the kid's played the last 2 weeks, and you look a little bit identity-wise. They want to run the football. Really good back, couple of good backs. I think a younger offensive line, but you kind of again see them getting better. I think there's some talented kids up there. You watch them. I think they're coached up pretty good. So if you thought the guy was a runner or the guy was, this guy's a passer, I think guys, they have run their quarterback some. Maybe a couple of the earlier guys that are out, and I think they're kind of out for a while. So. We'll have a plan for certain things. They use a little wildcat formation, so I think we'll have to be ready for a few of those things. But I don't think it'll be much different than it is most their weeks. Their defense structure is a little bit different. Certainly Matt McCutcheon, our offensive line coach, in that system, he practiced against it for a number of years. So I think that certainly helps us in preparation, because it is a little bit different scheme defensively that now our guys have seen a number of years, but their kids are playing hard, and even with some challenges they had. I mean, to me, you cut the tape on, and that's what still shows up. They're still playing hard. You can tell they have they got a plan what they're trying to do. They just have had some challenges, and as we all have from time to time. And so, I've told you guys, we've gotten everybody's best shot. And I think I'm not sure we hadn't gotten the team's best shot, and so we were kind of expecting to get their best shot again. So
all last week, probably by coincidence, but it seems like every time I turned on the radio, I heard Matt Brown talking about in North Carolina we have things going, and all of a sudden we just play terrible against somebody. We got to play. We of course that's exactly what happened, and for whatever reason, veteran players, veteran coaches. I think if you get beat, you're going to get beat fair and square, because it seems like to me that one of the great attributes of this team is being prepared, ready, and put in a good effort every week.
Well, I think you've heard me say I think games about matchups, and I think I told our team yesterday in our little short practice that you look at their strengths. I think some of their strengths are our strengths. So it kind of cancels some stuff sometimes. You feel like somebody's not very good at run defense. Well, you feel like you can run the ball, or vice versa. But I think they're pretty good against the run. I think they run the football pretty well, So I think that's where it'll kind of start, and do those other things. But one concern I have about our kids. Our kids will be focused and ready to go. And again, put in the preparation, put in the practice time, and our coaches will have a good plan, and you just got to go play with some effort and enthusiasm, which again I think we will, and don't do things that hurt your team. You know, I think they were third in the country turnover margin. I think that's maybe as good a team stat as there is. You know, because we gotta get it out and we gotta take care of it, and so that's kind of where we'll start.
Coach, I was going to ask Evan about his great uncle. For those who don't know, Evan DiMaggio's great uncle is Joe DiMaggio, the late Yankee Clipper Hall of Famer. But it turns out you're the one that's got the Joe DiMaggio story.
Well, I did meet him. I don't know. I was a young grad assistant, I think, at NC State the 2 years I was gone, and my dad had a friend in Miami, and we went down there one spring break for a guy was going to take us fishing, his friend, and we were going to play golf, and we did, and played with these two guys that he set us up with, and we were in the clubhouse afterwards, and I knew who Joe DiMaggio. I guess this was the Mr. Coffee days, probably. And I looked over there, and I'm like, I turned to the guy, and he said, "Is that Joe DiMaggio?" And next thing I know, he's yelling for Joe to come over there, and he did, you know, and it was awesome to us just standing there talking. But that was pretty cool. I've had a chance to meet some pretty cool people. That might be one of the coolest ones I've met. So, but he was awesome, and now that's a great memory.
Oh, Wayne, I got a question for you. Have you talked to Coach about throwing a pass this year? Because you're in every offensive statistic other than passing this year. We just want to know, is that something we could see in the near future?
I've worked on my passing game a little bit. When I first got here, everyone thought I just couldn't throw. I think that I've worked on it. So, I mean, you never know. You never know.
Well, I think, are you one of the left-handers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew he was one of the left-handers, you know, because we got a couple of guys who are lefties, you know, when you're watching them throw. And
You know, that
and
might
I think we
explain a
might have
lot.
let him practice it a few times. I'm not sure. I
You
might
never know.
have to check it back out, yeah.
You just never know. It might come up.
Anything else from the group? Clay, a final thought?
No, just, again, appreciate you being here. You know, again, just excited to get a chance to go play again. You know, we're getting better. Kids are working hard, and you know, we're in pretty good health. You know, we're like everybody. Everybody's a little beat up at this time of the year, but I think, you know, the things we've done depth-wise, I think hopefully it's going to help us down the stretch. And again, excited to be home and excited to get a chance to go play another conference win, and hopefully see if we can get a little better.
Well, kickoff is 2 p.m. Here at Paladins Stadium. It is homecoming against ETSU, so we would love to have as many people in attendance as we can, and we're also collecting non-perishable food items. Is that correct, Clay?
We are.
At the gate, the
At the
coaches'
gate.
families will be at the gate collecting food donations for the local food bank. So if you're coming to the stadium, please help out in that cause. If you can't make it, the game will be televised via ESPN Plus, and of course also we'll have the radio broadcast beginning with the Pepsi countdown to kickoff at 12:30 on the Fan Upstate 97.7 FM in Greenville, 97.1 in Spartanburg, and everywhere on the Odyssey app. This has been Furman Football Weekly. Thank you to Coach Clay Hendricks, to Wayne Anderson, to Evan DiMaggio. I'm Dan Scott saying God bless you. So long, everybody. This has been a Hunter Reed and Jeff Schetzel production.